So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that it's one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for all my family in Africa and as well in the diaspora. Greeting, and may Xavier bless you all. And I hope everybody is doing well and having a blast for the weekend. Well, here comes the diaspora show with the Big E. And I really appreciate those of you that's joining me. Again, I appreciate you waiting. I had a little bit of technical difficulties and I overcome them. This is a God work. And let's begin on a few things I always said, and when I start, is that I always start good with everything that's going to come is from Xavier. Xavier is the one that's going to show us the way, and I'll invite you again for Mika's beautiful song and the prayer. So we pray together, we unite together, we work together, and that gives us who we are. Who we are is very important. We're Africans. We're trying to unify our Africa to be one. And let's hope everybody else enjoyed this beautiful song with Mika and Godspeed. And I know most of you know the song, and I want to share that with all of you again. And this is made for Jesus. So enjoy, and we'll be back.
In the colors of your heart, stood your beloved, your day star, the fairest among 10,000 wives. You formed the seasons and fixed the time. You gave me sparks in the morning light. Creation flowed from your love. You were crafty and I was pretty. You were laughing, I was with you. Out for you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was was made to walk the cool of the day with you. With you. Cursing the garden of paradise, knew the pain from the Father's heart. To get us back, you gave it all. Filled in the likeness of flesh on earth, bore the cross that we deserve. I've gotten down on my knees, Spirit breathing on me. Been saying I'm see what I was made for. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in the cool of the day with you. With you. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Jesus. The whole point of my existence is to know you, oh. The whole point of my existence is to know your love. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Lord. The whole point of my existence is to know your love. The whole point of my existence is to know your love. Is to know you, Lord. Is to know your love. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. With you.
There you have it. One of the most beautiful songs that I never stop playing it, and sometimes it gives me a lot of inspiration and follow up. So I want to start our session with a prayer. And for those of you that are listening out there, wherever you are, anywhere, may Xavier bless you all. May Xavier listen to what we want to say and hear everything that we have out of the heart. Let's be the one that's going to be the voice, and the voice that gives the strength through him, through Xavier. Amen. All right, let's begin. Today's show, kind of remote. I just don't want to lose my internet and all that, but at the same time, uh, I'm in a good spot. And can somebody confirm, Chrissy or Narit? Welcome, welcome on the chat. if you can hear me clear, if there's something that I need to change, if there's an echo. So this is just a sound check, just to make sure that everybody can hear me clear. And we'll go through there. And one of the thought that really comes through the whole week that I've been going listening and on recap. Uh, I want to push an agenda um, that's noted. We want a progressive Africa. What I say by that is that yes, there's a lot of needs, a lot of things that we can do from infrastructure, from the economic side of the house, from science, technology. We have a lot of things that we can achieve together. And I call it progressive because it involves all of us. Those that hear the Swahili Nation One Africa trying to get an office and getting that office running is very important for us. Uh, the existence not only is not on the realm of YouTube, but the realm that we have our own office, and that's what we call progressive, going to the progress and trying to achieve something together. So there's a question on the start: who claims Africa, and who is Africa? What does it mean for us, for all Africans, as a continent? Well, the answer is very simple. Africa belonged to her children. And to be progressive, we need to have a basic understanding and basic language. A language is not just the talking language, but our spiritual language. What are we striving for? What are we trying to do? What is this being progressive? Well, our language is unity. Our language is the vision that we have for Africa. Our language is love. Our language is peace. Our language is strength. Our language is prosperity, health, the well being of African children, boys and girls, growing in a peaceful environment, securing the future of Africa. So, Africa belongs to her children if we really want to go into progressive Africa. So, we embrace everything that's going to be contributing to the growth and prosperity of one peaceful Africa. That's my thought. And every time that we discuss about African affairs, the first thing that comes in the picture is corruption. The next thing that everything is narrative that goes around poor Africa is poor. Everything that's so negative, and they want to keep it down to that level. No, we have a progressive, wide awake Africa. The diaspora that goes home and visit their hometown in Africa, they see changes every time they go and visit. There's a lot of change, but some of the change isn't the change that we want to see. That's something else. It depends on how you're going to see it. Everybody has his own perspective. But at the end of the day, it's not negative. Overall, the diaspora, when he goes visit and come back, the first thing that he enjoys is just the unifying family, seeing the family, enjoying meal with the family, regardless the condition of the lifestyle that they have in the continent. We, the diaspora, accepts it humbly In fact, that gives us the strength to improve things. That gives us an idea. So when we say and call that Africans in diaspora, come and visit the home, come and visit the continent, the motherland, because these are the people that's going to rejuvenate and come with different idea, and that idea is progressive for the next level, no matter what we have, because now we start identifying what lacks to get Africa ahead. We, the people, are the one that makes the difference. Our continent is huge. It's so huge. In fact, yesterday we were talking about the world population, if it can fit in Africa. Let me give you something in perspective. The state of Texas can accommodate, not really accommodate, but size-wise, 1,000 square foot per person, which is the equivalence of 10 cars parking space. You'll have all the 7 billion people in the state of Texas. And if you look at the whole United States can fit in Africa. So that tells you that we're not overpopulated. Actually, the world is underpopulated. Any narrative that goes, oh, there's overpopulation, is wrong. It's a wrong narrative. We got plenty space, plenty. I just gave you the example. Texas is in the United States, and it can fit 7 billion people with that 1,000 square foot each. So imagine when you compare Africa to United States will be just a little piece that's going to occupy just maybe the West Africa, because we can include India, China, Russia, Great Britain, all that in Africa. In fact, Madagascar is equivalent to the Great Britain, and we include also Europe. So there's so many negative narratives. And what I'm trying to say on this diaspora show is that we, the people, should understand our space in Africa and how to interlace the diaspora and as well the Africans that are in the continent together and create a form of unity and understanding and patience who will build the Africa of tomorrow. The Africa of tomorrow is in our hand, in our will, in our way of doing things progressively. Africa cannot live just by itself. Yes, we can. But at the same time, we need the world also to interact with us. What we're asking is to have a fair, equal trades, being treated equal in the world trade and respected, because we have everything that the world needs. But it seems like the other way around, that we need the world for our need. Just think about it. Just take a minute or two and see how this thing sinks in. Is the world needs Africa, or Africa needs the rest of the world when it comes to human resource and as well the resources, the minerals and everything else that we have? How many smart people that we have globally that came out of Africa? All these scientists, all these doctors, all these rocket scientists, and people that works in space missions, people that work in the arms, people that work. If you really dig in, they're Africans, and yet while they are in diaspora, Africa keeps getting the beating through the narrative, negative narrative that's been the cancer of Africa to cripple Africa. But unfortunately, it cannot stop Africans. Africans are getting born and grown by the numbers. Are we going to run out of space? I don't think so. But I know for sure, as the statistics shows, is that by 2030 we're going to be 2.5 billion African living in African continent. And so, what do we have to do as diaspora and as well as being African to help Africa to this progressive move? There's a lot of things that we can do. One of the things is our language. As African, we should have this spiritual language that is deeper inside. What do you want? And what do you want to have Africa to have? The first thing that comes in the language that I mentioned is our unity. Our unity starts with your neighbor. We have to practice that. As they say, love your neighbor, understand your neighbor, because he will do the same in return. Our unity is not limited. Our unity from one end of Africa to the next end of Africa is a huge territory. In fact, in certain areas, there's a few people living here and there, but still, our message is the same. Our language is the same. It's a language of unity. You can translate this word unity in different languages, and the unity is power. It's the power that our kin enemies don't want us to have. They're always going to create the chaos, the havoc, just for their own personal gains, not really representing a specific country and to get that specific country to get the wealth out of Africa. They might sound like it, but most of them, when it comes to that, they're greedy. They want to do everything for themselves. And so unity is our first language. That language can be practiced by unifying yourself and start practicing. Because when you practice something and you do it over and over, and you become like a infestation. This infestation is a good infestation because it calls for the good of humanity. I think ever since COVID, it seems like people really forgot that being in the unity, because when COVID came, it locked you out from the rest of your neighbors. Everybody was locked in. Everybody practiced his own ways of living just to survive with his wife, maybe children, maybe by himself or by herself. It's just, it changed the flavor of how we live. And that flavor of unity is us that's going to be changing it. Yesterday there was a question of how Africa looks at night, and I'm gonna share something with you guys is that it's so funny. Just the question got posed on yesterday recap show, and I shared that, and I really want to share it again. Uh, what Africa looks at night, and as you can see it, this is how Africa looks at night. So if you notice, it's really really dark. That shows that we don't have much lights. That shows in Africa very limited, and it's up to us to light it up. But as you can see in the west a little bit, in south, South Africa toward and down is light in the Egypt area. And then if you look at the European, it's kind of lit. There's a lot of light. So that shows, we lack a lot of things, especially like electricity or some kind of energy that can light up certain part of Africa. Even though the center, you have the Sahara, definitely not going to see a lot of lights to begin with. But there are things that comes in question, like Ethiopia built the dam to produce electricity and had a lot of opposition about it for the upstream river and all that. But everything is in control, and at the same time, there's other options if there's a shortage, if any shortage that may happen in the uh, downstream, uh, and always have a solution. But one of the things that everybody's going to benefit is to have the electricity. And in fact, the minute that people get electricity in their homes that they never had in the last how many years, put it the first time having electricity and have the light in your house. I don't think anybody want to talk about the dam being bad. I think it creates the opportunity that say, what else can we help to build more of these? Because I know so and so might not have electricity. We start rethinking. So that means this is one of the agendas for progressive Africa by building things that are necessary for Africa. Progressive. That's a change. So I want to say hello to Marie Antoinette. I have Merit in there, Jonathan, and I'll be sending my invite to pretty soon. But at the same time, I really appreciate for those of you that joined me and start talking about Africa. It's really huge. Africa is huge. And at the same time, we got a lot of topics that we can really talk about. And it never be, we cannot cover it, even if we have 24-hour shows. I'm talking about from progressive Africa, not what's just happening in Africa. Then we go and look on what we can change. And to bring the unity, it requires peace. And so our unity is with a vision of love, peace, strength, prosperity. Through those, when it comes to the prosperity mode, we secure our food security. The strength is the national security for the might to protect our citizens. openness for progressive Africa. We're not going to let anything to let us down, that drag us back, saying, oh, it was this, it was that. And again, it's the reality in the narrative, but it's not the reality on the ground. We got over 26% entrepreneurs in Africa. Something is moving, something is doing what it needs to be doing. But now we're just going to be looking into different technologies, ways of doing things better, hire more workers, get Africans employed. Through that is our vision to make sure that we are creating our infrastructures, we're creating everything that we need to show the progressive African. It's change. When the internet came in, the first thing that everybody said, wow, Africa is just 500 years forward. But at the same time, everybody tend to forget that we Africans now in the diaspora and as well in the continent start communicating more often than before. It's a progress. We're talking. And those of us that do the talk and walk the talk, it's a different things. So the fact that we have a way of communicating is progressive. So we should embrace all the positive things that's been happening in the continent. Because if you focus on negative, everything that you're going to be attracting is going to be always negative. We're not going to get into that trap anymore. I know there's a lot of issues that needs to be resolved, and part of it is in the unity. So the unity start within each nation. Each nation, if each nation are unified, it's very easy to unify the rest. We still have to build our infrastructures, our roads, and as well need electricity across Africa. Because some of the roads at night you cannot even drive. I don't care what kind of high beam you have, it's not going to work. But if we have street lights or highway lights, then at least certain spot can be lit up so we can have a safe travel. There's so many accidents in Africa because of being dark in certain area they cannot see. And we human are very limited to our vision. It depends whether you need to wear glass. Some people don't want to wear glass, but they should wear glass. That's another story. But the safety itself, just to have a safe travel. Because again, some of African roads you cannot travel at night. Even it's hard to drive during daytime. Not to mention when the season of rain season comes and all that, things gets different. So there's a lot of things that we can do just for safety aspect of it. Are the existing roads, are they safe enough? Like anybody else does, can we sponsor some of those major highways? Businesses can sponsor that, individuals can sponsor that. Have we looked into that? Have we tried to do something different that can contribute to the safety of the African people that live in the continent? And in fact, since the diaspora go and visit, don't you want to be safe on that road? And what can you do? Especially diaspora that works in the energy sector, technology sector. These are the most needed. I know you are in a daily, day-to-day life, but at the same time, when you go visit, Get ready with a few things that you know to share. Rent a little hallway in anywhere that you can afford in the community and share your knowledge. Just that 1 day or 2 days of knowledge that helps pushing to the progressiveness of Africa. So we got to think progressively, got to think forward. Yes, there's a past. We learn from the past, not to repeat the past. That's why there's history books. That's why you got history uh, point of view from African point of view, not for somebody that wrote it for you, but from the African, from the continent. There are so many other books that need to be explored, that need to be translated in different languages, because now we got still some, of course, Africa, the continent is multicultural, multilingual, and we got so many other, and we're trying to get the Swahili to come to the main language so everybody can communicate in Swahili. That itself is the progressive Africa. If Africans don't think about Africa themselves, nobody will think of Africa. Those that are in diaspora, they're African, yes, they do care. But at the same time, we are the one that's accountable to make a better Africa. It is something that we all see things that it's so obvious sometimes when you try to process those things and try to put them together, there's certain things that lacks, that we miss certain part of the communication. If I cannot do it, I should pick up the phone and say, hey, Jonathan, I was thinking about this. Marie Antoinette, I was thinking about that. We have to share information where we can have a better solutions. Two minds are better than one. I believe that's what we lack. We're not communicating enough. We're not really putting that effort to get that brilliant idea into work. When it came into the Swahili Nation One Africa office, we were based on the need, what that office can do for us. Who's going to reside in there? Who's going to be the member that's going to be functional member that's going to put information out on a regular basis? Having our own website that you can communicate. Our own. And nobody says anything. Because it's our own. It's all be built by Africans. So it's very important that we understand that we have the accountability for our responsibility. And let's think what is best for Africa progress. Very important. So let me, I want to share also the very important, our GoFundMe. Today, when I look at the numbers, kind of a little bit stagnant. Are we sharing this information to people? Are you sending it to people that you know close? I do, yes. Enough? I don't think so. I don't reach everybody yet. Still trying to get all these people, even though I'm mentioning to them. So let's keep the hope. I want to share this with you guys.
So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us here about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that it's one white man. that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.
You want to support independent economic movements around the world but don't know how? Welcome to Triangle, an independent social economic network right in the palm of your hands. Check on the progress of the projects you are interested in. Watch live videos of the projects that you either donate to or are interested in. Comment on the project with your friends, or contribute to the project while it is live. Check the hottest business plan submission all around the globe. Get an instant update on new business ideas that are submitted through our unique submission system. Upload content about your own business progress. Start a live video to show the world or pictures of your progress. Get personal with the people that had contributed to your project, and also to the people to whom you have contributed to. Search the globe for all the active projects to see what you might be interested in. Start engaging with the future. Sign up for Triangle.
Yeah, I just put a little bit of flavor of what Triangle is, and Triangle trying to put this together for all Africans. So there's a lot of works out there, a lot of work. So going back on fundraising, one thing that I really want to show is that we need more than that. We're on 3,780, and our goal is 25,000 euro. So we got a lot to cover. And again, I want to remind everybody uh, to share this information. It's very, very important. Again, I cannot say enough how important this is, because it represents us, we African in diaspora, Africans in Africa. By putting this office together, we have a lot of missions that's going to go through it. A mission for Africa, for the progressive Africa. And we will show it to the world. We are capable of doing it by Africans. We Africans are the one that's going to be doing it. It's like Fidel said, we don't need the West. The West want us to divide us into be the appeal. You still need to understand that. But again, yes, the world needs us. If you are the most important commodity in trades or anything else for us, we want to be equal partners. We're not afraid of the globe. We have a huge continent and very powerful continent when it comes to what the world needs from our continent. The largest. They try to make it small, try to make it in different ways, playing with the views. But what I showed you, reimaging African campaign, reimagining the African campaign, definitely something that we should be all proud of. Mika Shawala that's behind it, working day and night, trying to bring something for the continent. And imagine it, we have this office and he has everybody that he needs to contact and have face to face, bringing technology, understanding the social media, all the negative media that's coming in hunt us to bring us down. We have somebody that's going to be in that office that's going to be doing what it needs to be done to counter those negative messages or narratives. So I want you all to think about it. €5 to the minimum if you can do it, and share with maybe another 4 or 5 people. 5 times 5 is €25 at a time. I was watching this show. He got a little shorts. He's a comedian. The first thing he always said is, "I just need 10,000 likes," because he's smart. Because if you do push the like where you have the push in the like, you have the opportunity to subscribe to. And once you do the like, those who didn't subscribe, they will subscribe. So again, we're becoming very progressive about that. Because if I say like, I just need the like, and the rest will take care of itself. Support us because family, this is where we are. And we need €25,000. Again, share it. Share the information. There are people that are not even aware about us, our movement, what we stand for. Our mission is clear. Our mission is very clear. This is a non-political foundation. We go from the bottom to the top. Organic. Let's help the African citizens that are struggling. They have the idea, but they don't have the know-how and how to do things. Small things. You see something that you can do, share it. Come to our shows. Let's explore that and share where we can touch as many young Africans to help them in their project. If you think of anything, that anything you think is nothing, it's very big for Africa. We can do anything. We're talking about from technology, science, agriculture, anything and everything that we use daily can work in Africa. Some people have the idea, but they don't have the finance. One of the major issues is finance and how to get the funds. This is where Triangle comes. Triangle is going to have a good intro to fund our smart, clever young Africans to fulfill their project, to bring finance to them, to bring partnership to them. So that's why I showed you a little bit of Triangle. And the architect, Rich Francis, will always thank you for your motivation, for your innovation, trying to get this software out there and be available for Africa. Thank you. I just want to say thank you in that aspect. I see Anatan said good competition is healthy. It's up your game. That's true. We touched a little bit of capitalism yesterday, and out of that conversation also we had the good competition. Yes, a good competition is always a good competition, because now if you heard, there's another telecom that came into Ethiopia competing with the national telecommunication. And in fact, they said it's a better with technology, and I believe they launched it in the Diredoa. That's one of the example when it comes to competition within. So I'll come into the back in the Africa belong to her children. Just a little bit of news on what's going on. Uh, the Sudanese foreign ministry on Tuesday summoned the Ethiopian ambassador, saying Ethiopia had shut down a plane from Sudanese airspace. But nobody claims who that aircraft belonged to. So somebody's saying they shot it down from the Sudanese airspace, but nobody claims whose airplane that is. Anyway, on August 24th, the Ethiopian army announced that it had shot down a plane loaded with weapons destined for the rebels in Tigray North, which had violated Ethiopian airspace after flying over Sudan. That's one of the news. In the press conference in Khartoum on Monday, the resumption of hostility in the northern Ethiopian ambassador Alamu, there's no doubt that the news of the plane that flew over Sudanese airspace into Ethiopian airspace and was shot down by the Ethiopian army is true. So he confirmed, the ambassador in Sudan confirmed that Ethiopia shut down the aircraft that came into the Ethiopian airspace. Nobody understand when it comes to these kind of news that comes in, and everybody has a different flavor. For me, my question would be, whose aircraft was it? You know, the aircraft. Nobody talks about it. Ethiopia doesn't talk about it. Sudan doesn't talk about it. It's amazing that we just got this rogue airplane that passes through all these airspace without being identified who that aircraft belongs to. Amazing. So this is where we talk about, what kind of system do we have that can really identify those aircraft that's going in and out. Sound like drug dealers are running their own weapon dealers. So that's one of the news that just appeared this week. Uh, the other thing is another news that the Ethiopian and Eritrean force on Thursday launched a massive joint offensive against the area of Tigray bordering Eritrea, in the rebel region in the northern Ethiopia. So now we got a joint effort to fight the rebels. Okay. The Ethiopian government and rebels in the Tigray region accused each other on Wednesday of opening new fronts in North Ethiopia a week after renewed fighting shattered a 5-month truce. Uh, the possible expansion of conflict comes a day after a new air raid on the Tigrayan capital, Mekelle, the second since hostility resumed on August 24th in the area of Amhara and Afar region surrounding the southeastern tip of Tigray. What else did I pick out? We got that, and the other one that I was trying to find my. I wrote pretty much a lot of the on the forces. Uh, yeah, the other one is Mali ex-rebels and the government return to talk after almost a year. That's a good thing. At least somebody's coming to the table. Uh, After almost a year, ex-rebels and the government of Mali returning to discussion on the table sense gives a sense of hope. That's the first thing that I said. The minute that you start sitting down at a table and start discussing the differences and come to a peace, this is where it becomes a progressive Africa that we can solve things on the table. I know people can say otherwise. Uh, Among the other Kenya, among the questions being considered by the court is whether the election commission website was hacked and if there was any interference with the transmission of the result forms. The court says it attempting to answer 9 questions, and if the result is nullified, it could lead to a fresh election, which worries many voters, including Peter Kovacia, who works at a fruit and vegetable stand in Nairobi. Yeah, if this thing has been tempered or the vote went different way, that's another good ways to solve our African issues. These are a few examples that I'm bringing. There's positive things that's happening in the continent. A lot of changes, but they're not really highlighted. This enforces again with the Mali ex rebels and the government. You got Kenya that passed the election. Now they're still going through the court system and trying to resolve the issues. This is a great move. I mean, we have to question if we have questions, which is great. Uh, and the other thing, I don't know where it stands now. The Nigerian shell disaster. Actually, it was called the original Ogoniland labeled as incompetent. This was a while ago when we had this incident of pollution and the cleanup. Uh, the other thing that I looked, there was one more. Uh, I'm going to share some of the pics that we have. And that picture always comes in my mind every time that I see it. Is that the Kenyan election, and that it's kind of famous. I know Mondatezi would love that. I want to share this picture. Um, I just kind of snipped it. I don't know if anybody sees that. That's the on the election. One of the famous picture that was being transmitted for us. Uh, there's another one that I have question with. Actually, really have a question. Is the is this picture, and I still want to understand why why the prosecutors and lawyers have to wear this hair. I still I find it very funny. Let me share that with you guys. I just picked a few pictures like that, and I find it kind of funny. You see that? You see, they got this white hair when they're always in court. Just it's another question. We have beautiful hair. We can present ourselves in the court anytime. And those of you who would like to join me, I just send out the link on the StreamYard, for the StreamYard. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of another beautiful thing that I've seen is the work on what we have in Africa. Here you go.
So Africa, a place where poverty and pandemic diseases are originated. The least wealthy continent per capita. The land where the only things to be found are animals, corrupted leaders, poor kids, dirty water and civil wars. People who are in need for help, donations and support, aka the NGO's motherland. For others, honestly, Africa is just a very hot, dark and sad place everyone wishes to escape one day. Well, whether you're an African or not, this thinking isn't new to you, because you have read, heard or felt the same way before. Just type the word Africa on Google right now. Turn on your TV and see what the NGOs portray. Watch movies from Hollywood. Ask your mama, friends, or ask yourself, what is Africa? Yet if you're still struggling to believe, let me ask you this. What comes to your mind when you hear the word Africa? Tell me the first thought that comes to your mind right now. Honestly, tell me right now. But what really is Africa? What is Africa? Listen, there are many theories about the name, but one that is close to the truth is Al-Kebulan. This name translates to Mother of Mankind, or according to other sources, the Garden of Eden, the place where love, peace and unity dwells. Al-Kebulan is an extremely old word. Many nations in Africa use this word, including Ethiopians, Nubians, Moors and Numidians. For me, this isn't just the theory, but the truth. My truth I choose to believe in. As cliche as it sounds, that's the future I'm hoping for. The tomorrow I'm fully determined to see. The dream I am convinced and dedicated to fighting for until it happens. What is Africa for you?
Birds are the largest aves on Earth. and the fastest runners of all two-legged animals, covering up to 5 meters in a single stride and running at speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Their 5-centimeter eyes are the largest of any land animal, and their cheeks the largest of any bird. A hatchling can be as big as a grown-up chicken. Ostriches lay their eggs in communal nests. The females incubate the eggs by day and the males by night. Their coloration is such that the male will blend with the darkness by night and the female with the sun by day, giving them a perfect camouflage for incubation. As a habit, ostriches ingest stones and gravels to help in their digestion. On average, one ostrich carries over a kilo of stones in one of its 3 stomachs.
All right, just a flavor what Mika worked on. Just a few streams, few videos that I shared with you, and we had 1 hour and 8 minutes, and this is the Diaspora Show. I'm going to conclude my show today. It's going to be a little bit short. I just got different things that I was trying to engage in, and again, I'm just going to go and put all my efforts of the Swahili Nation One Africa offices, and until I see you next week, I'll say have a great evening, have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us again. I thank Xavier for giving us this opportunity to be able to demonstrate a few things, and I'll leave you with the good thoughts, with everything that you can think of. I just want to make sure that I share this video, and I'll say good night, and it's going to be a wrap.
In the corners of your heart stood your beloved, your day stood the fairest among 10,000 wives. You formed the seasons and fixed the time. You gave me sparks in the morning light. Creation flowed from your love. You were crafty and I was breathing. You were laughing, I was reaching out for you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of the day with you. With you. Cursed in the garden of paradise, knew the pain from the Father's heart. To get us back, you gave it all. Filled in the likeness of flesh on earth, bore the cross that we deserve. We've gotten down. Spirit breathing, been saying I'm see what I was made for. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk in Jesus. The day is to know Jesus. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Lord. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Lord. The whole existence is to know you, Lord. The whole point of my existence is to know you, Lord. Is to know you, Lord. Is to know you, Lord. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. I was made for heaven. I was made for Jesus. I was made to walk the cool of a day with you. With you.
There you have it. I want to conclude in that way. And here's our language. I just texted. What is our language? Unity, vision, love, peace, and strength, and prosperity, all the blessings. We bless one another. And that's how we're going to get to progressive Africa. I just leave that in the chat for all of you to share. This is our language. Till next time, this is Biggie. That's where I talk. I leave you in peace and all the blessings. I pray for Marie Antoinette, Kaku, Kuku, my brother Izana, Deborah, Dr. Zadeka, and also for all the family. I pray to you, Xavier. May you bless them, heal them, because they're all special in front of you. And keep them and treat them special. Amen. Well, family, it is a wrap. Have a wonderful weekend.